So there are some interesting things happening right now in the Pokemon market that I wanted to cover here in this video. Some products are doing some things which I wanted to give my insights on and cover here today. So the first one is a product that I don't think really gets talked about much. It's not really popular, but the numbers and the sales have increased in the past week, and these are hitting new highs and prices are climbing. So the Terapagos UPC. I've talked about this product a few times in the past. I've always said that this wasn't a great UPC because you compare it to the previous UPCs. We've had the Arceus V-Star UPC. I think that was a GameStop exclusive. Also, I think the Greninja was at a UPC or was that another collection box? I'm not exactly sure. But we've had the Charizard UPC, obviously, from Sword and Shield. And we've also had the 151 UPC. So when you compare Terapagos to those UPCs, it is really not that great, right? And a big part of why this isn't a great UPC, first of all, is the featured Pokemon. It's Terapagos. You compare it to the Charizard or the Mew from 151. I mean, this isn't that great. And also the promo. The promo is a huge part of the UPC. And just look at the promos. It's not great. So this product, honestly, in my opinion, you are not buying it for it being Terapagos. You're not buying it for the full art cards in here. You're buying it for the packs. And I recently bought a singular UPC from Costco. After all the taxes, it was $100 flat. I recently bought it because I knew it was going to go up because at the time, I believe you could have still bought them on the Pokemon Center for 120, which is MSRP. And it was just so obvious that the packs in this, UPC, the value of them, it was going to drive the prices up. You were able to buy these at one point, I believe in the 80s. And obviously recently they've sold out in Pokemon Center because all the values of all the booster box, all the packs have gone up. And that's why, in my opinion, buying from Costco, if you were able to hit that drop, which was not that hard to, it was kind of a no-brainer pickup. You couldn't buy much. You could buy a max of 2. But yeah, I mean, these are going up. And it's not that surprising because, like I said, all these packs in here, the booster box prices for all these, I believe, are around $200. Obsidian Flames, I believe, is $200. Paradox, Temporal, I believe, is around $200. Things like $190. Paradox, I believe, is around $200. Twilight, I think, is like $220. Stellar's like $210. So this being at $120 or for a UPC, I think it was obvious it was going to go up, and they have gotten bought out at that price point on TCG Player, which is very interesting because, like I said, this isn't a very popular product, and you can sort of see what I mean here. The past week, look at this, the beginning of the month, sales are very low, but what has been happening in the past week, there's been a lot more sales, and you can see this one day here, 15 sold. So there's just been an increase of sales for this product because you compare it to all the packs inside of it, it was a decent pickup. And now we're seeing, you can see lowest listed is $128. Now you're saying, you know what? It's only $128. That's not a big deal. It's only $8 above MSRP. But when you actually scroll down and see the supply and see what's happening here with an average sales in the past few days of around 3 to 5, you look at the supply and you can see what I'm trying to say here. They're going to quickly climb to 150. So you can see it quickly goes to 140 after just about 2, 4, 8, 9 sales. It goes to 140. And then we add this 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We'll keep counting until we get to 150, 19. Did I count that wrong? 18, 19. Okay, I don't know where I was counting to, but it's around 20 boxes, right? 20 UPCs. I don't know what number I was at. I lost count. But look how quickly it goes to 150. And then it goes to 160. Now, obviously, people can list during these time periods of when prices go up, because when people see this hitting 140s, 150s, yes, more people will probably list. That's definitely a possibility. But you can see here why this is interesting for this product is because of the sales recently have really gone up, and the prices look like they're going to quickly climb. So honestly, for me, I only have one of this product. Not a big deal, right? But I'd say if this does actually reach around 150, I'm probably going to sell, to be honest, and take my menial profit. But if you do the math and percentages, the return would be decent. Because honestly, I don't really care having one Terapagos UPC if I'm able to make, let's say I'm selling at 80%, right? 150 market price, 80%, what is that? So 80% would be 40, and then 80. I think that's a 20% returns because I paid 100. I think I'd get 120. So 20% return in what? I've been holding this for, I think now a couple weeks or something like that, and by the time it gets to 150, maybe it's a month. 20%, not bad. It's $100, but it's not a big deal if I sell whatever. But yeah, it looks like this is going to climb up here pretty soon. So my insights on this is if you have an LGS near you if you have any sort of connection, any sort of, I guess, place where you can still pick this up for $100, this might not be a bad product to buy because it looks like it's going to climb up here very soon. Now, like I said, more people can list during this time period when prices go up, because that will definitely happen. But it does look like this is going to hit 150 relatively soon. And as you can see here on eBay, surprisingly, there are really no deals. If you look at all these products, the lowest listed is like 125, and that's it. For this Terapagos UPC, there's really no deal for this on eBay, unfortunately. So if you have any store you can buy from for $100, I'd say this is actually that would be a pretty good buy because it looks like this product is going to go to that 150s. Obviously, if you're buying $100, it goes 150. That's a 50% return. And this product, I think long term it's going to do fine because of the packs, but still, like, it's Terapagos, and that's why, in my opinion, like, if it does reach that 150 market price, I'm just going to sell it. Like I said, not really a huge deal. It's literally a $100 box. I only have one of them, whatever. But just want to give my thoughts on that. So Terapagos UPC, very interesting that it's starting to go up now. So here's, a product I've talked about recently. We've all heard about that news about, the reprint that's happening. And so far, I think it's only been one confirmed source from that one YouTuber that has said that, we're getting a reprint of the stuff. I've, heard and, I guess watched some other channels just to see if this was actually confirmed. So far, it looks like not many people are really getting that information. So maybe this person has inside information, not discounting it, not saying they're wrong. But not many people have been really talking about the reprint thing because no one's gotten the information other than that one person. However, I wanted to show you guys what the sales are looking like, because recently this product has decreased in value. It has gone all the way from 140 to 130, which for Prismatic, even though it's only a $10 decrease, it doesn't seem that substantial. But for it being a Prismatic ETB, like pretty much the top product for a very strong and popular set, it's kind of weird in this strong market that it would be going down in value. But it honestly could just be because this news getting out, some people listing, whatever it may be, right? It has been going down recently. As you can see in the past month, if we look at this chart, it was around 140 pretty steadily. But look at this past week, it has gone down all the way to 130. But like I said, I want to show you guys something very interesting here, is that we've seen, at least on this day, the average price sold is 127. We've seen a pretty big increase in sales. Now, when you compare to every other day, it looks like on average, the past few weeks, around 50 to 60 boxes are being sold. But as prices have decreased, to around 130s, even below that, we have seen an increase in sales. So is this indicative that when prices, if this reprint is somewhat sized, right? Is this indicative that prices are not going to fall as much as some people think? Because I know some people are saying, oh, this is when prices are going to crash or whatever, because it's reprint and all these sorts of things. When you see this small, like somewhat small discount, right, going from, I guess, an average of 140s to 127, and you see a pretty large increase in sales, it shows that there is still a lot of strength with this product, and people are willing to buy more quantities, or just there's more demand when there's a slight discount. So I think this was interesting to see that just a few, $5-10 discount was able to increase the sales by a good amount. And here you can see the past whole month, this is the only day where over 100 ETBs sold. So it shows you guys something that people are buying on this discount, meaning that when the reprint comes around, if it's not that big, it's probably going to really do nothing. People are going to buy it up. But if it is big, that will really show, I guess, and we'll see what happens with the price. But that was sort of interesting to see that just a small discount and a lot more people bought. Now, going on here, we have Journey Together enhanced booster boxes that are continuing to, go down in value. Recently, they're on 225, 220. Now they're all the way in the mid 210s, and I know it's like a small little decrease by $5, but it just does go to show that there's still a lot of supply floating around. As you can see here, there are a lot still listings under 220, and I am assuming that in the next week or so it could possibly go down even further. We're still this is a week after the release or something like that. So yeah, we're still seeing decreases in prices for Journey Together. I'm consistently still seeing a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace listing ETBs at $70 or under. A lot of people listing in like the 60s. A lot of people are trying to get rid of their Journey Together products because they're not skyrocketing like Prismatic did and rebounded quickly. But like this is still very early on in Journey Together. Like I said, we're only like a week after release. Still very early to tell anything, but prices have continued to decrease. Now here we have Surging Sparks. Just wanted to revisit this because I haven't talked about Surging Sparks really in that, I guess, in a while. But sales, recently have declined. There's a couple of days where they're like at 20, but overall sales have definitely decreased for Surging Sparks because new sets have come out since then, and as you can see, in the past month prices have decreased because it was all the way up to like at one point 260. And now it's gone down. I think at this point, I think the reprints have come out. I'm not exactly sure, but prices now are about 240. It kind of does fluctuate. Sometimes I see it being around 250, but just in general, the hype and sales around Surging Sparks has sort of slowed down a little bit. So interesting to see this, but like I said, I'm not exactly sure if the reprint has exactly hit for the booster boxes. You guys can let me know if it has because I'm honestly not too educated about that. But yeah, just sales for Surging Sparks has declined, but nothing too crazy. Still though, if you look at the beginning of the month, it's pretty consistent. But just the past week, there's some days where only a few sold. So lastly here, just want to show this because it's like a set that no one really talks about. Shrouded Fable. So at one point you were able to buy cases of ETBs in the very low 300s. So your average cost would be like low 30s for these each. What are they at now? And you can see here, they were getting very close to 60 bucks. You can see the lowest listed here is around like 57, 58 bucks. So basically like $60, which, if you were able to buy them for very low 30s, like a few months ago, which was possible like late 2024, yeah, you would be up a good amount on these. However, you can see the sales for these isn't that great other than just one day where 75 boxes sold. But you can see here for a $50, ETB, the sales volume is very low. It's struggling. So it just goes to show that the demand for Shrouded Fable, it's not that high. Okay, it's pretty evident here with the prices. If you look at Prismatic ETBs, it being pretty much almost triple the price of Shrouded Fable, the sales volume is like 10 to like 12 times higher than Shrouded Fable, and yet it's almost 3 times the price. It goes to show that a lot of this stuff has to do with demand. It doesn't really matter if it's cheap. If no one wants it, who cares? As you can see with Shrouded Fable, like I said, low sales volume, but this one day 75 sold. Not exactly sure what happened. We can look here. Maybe there's some indication. There's 30. I guess maybe there were some buyouts or whatever for some places. I don't know. There was 30 sold here, 30 sold here. So I guess it kind of skewed things. Maybe it was a Korean version. That's possible, or maybe that skewed it a little bit. Not really sure, but yeah, there has been a big amount of sales here on this date. But just want to do an overview, I guess, of some products and how the market's pretty interesting. There are some things going on which I wanted to talk about here and give some insights on. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.